Shalom. Shalom, everyone. Shalom. I'm just gonna keep it short today because there's a lot of news. I haven't done news in like almost a month. But Sister Whitney said that she's gonna have possibly some guests jump on from Belize. So I gotta teach. I can't just have the first service they watch be a mini service with news, right? So praise the Almighty. It's always a good thing. Also, too, it's kind of sprinkling, so I didn't want my Bible to get wet. That's another reason why I wanted to do the news too. Shalom, Jas, Nisi, Enrique. All right, Jas on the mic. Okay. Shalom. Give it a couple minutes. Praise the Almighty for today. If you thank the Almighty, I might have to teach on the way of the transgressor is hard. Seeing this video, this woman knew she was HIV. She just went on Facebook or whatever and started naming off all these names of dudes. So-and-so, you HIV positive. This and this, you HIV positive. This and this, you HIV. And that little blank talking to another woman. Yeah, I messed with your husband. He's HIV positive and he took it to you. You HIV positive. You know, just naming off people. And you see that the Bible is pretty clear. It says the way of a transgressor is hard. There are certain, the way of the Almighty, we do put on his yoke. And it says his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Yes, it is lighter than a transgressor, for sure. But we do have where we have to sacrifice and be a living sacrifice. So we do have hard times in our walk. That is hard, whether separation of family members because you serve the Almighty, whether loss of jobs for keeping the feast days and the Sabbath. We do have those hard times, but there's just some things we don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about an STD if you're not running around fornicating and being a whoremonger like the Bible tells you not to do. You don't have to worry about certain cancers if you're not eating garbage food like pork and drinking alcohol with cirrhosis of the liver and lung cancer because you're smoking cigarettes and weed and throat cancer. There's certain things you don't have to worry about because we don't dip and dab in sin. It says, whatsoever a man reap, so he shall also reap. So, I'm not saying we're immune from sickness because once Adam sinned, death reigned in. And I'm not saying you can't get cancer, I'm not saying any of that. But there are things we do not have to worry about because we live holy and live righteous. If I don't hang around, it says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship righteous with unrighteous, what communion light with darkness. If I don't hang around sinners that gangbang, then I don't have to worry about what comes with gangbang. If I don't go to the club with my girlfriends or whatever, right? These girls go to the club or go to fraternity parties and do that. I don't have to worry about some dude spiking my drink and raping me while I'm passed out. There are certain things and certain dangers we do not have to worry about simply because we just serve the Most High. It says, come on, take on my yoke. My burden is easy and my yoke is light and my burden is easy. And then the other scripture says the way of a transgressor is hard. The majority of people that transgress are lower or middle class at best. There is a few sinners that get away with things like the Bill Gates and everyone that's on Epstein's island and all the wickedness. There's a few of them that do, you know, and that's because they serve they serve their wicked one. They serve Satan. They have their Bohemian Grove. They do their child trafficking and sacrifice and drink their blood. There's some ones that succeed, that put time in service and serving the wicked one. And then there's the average servant of the wicked one, which is just a sinner. The atheists, the people that drink and smoke and whoremonger, their father is still the devil, but they don't serve him, you know. So you guys got to be careful out there. There's people out there that know that they got hurt, and they're hurt because someone gave them herpes, and they're hurt because someone gave them AIDS or HIV, and so they're going to take it out. If I got hurt, everyone else got hurt. And men are men just fall for the trap because you think, oh, well, the ugly ones are the ones that, it could be the pretty ones too. Pretty one got hurt, chased after the bad boy gave him an STD, and now you think the pretty ones, the ugly ones, it don't matter which ones. How about you just wait until you're married? How about you only seek someone serving the Almighty? How about prior to even getting to the marriage, get tested? There's plenty of ways you could circumvent and filter who's right for you and who's not right for you. So that's sad, but hey, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You want to play against the Most High, you know, a lot of these people, some of them believe in the Bible, they just don't want to obey. There's the people that did not make it into the promised land. I'm gonna finish this point and then we'll start. The people that did not make it into the promised land, think about the 600 men of war, not including the women and everyone over 20 years that did not make it into the promised land. They did not make it into the promised land not because they didn't believe in the existence of the Most High. It's because they were just disobedient. They've seen the miracles. Every day they seen manna came down. They seen the water come out of the rock. So there's people out there that actually believe in the Bible, and they still smoke, they still drink, they still tell lies, they still game bang, they still whoremonger, they still go to the club, they know that there's a creator. They believe in the creator, but they just disobedient. And get you a disobedient reward. So let's get to it, right? It's about time. The Belize best witnesses are here watching. Praise the Almighty. Welcome. Like I said, it's a little sprinkling. I was going to keep it short and do the news, but praise the Almighty, we'll do a full service today. Welcome. I didn't get a chance to eat my candy either. Welcome to True Hebrews United Almighty Yeshua. This should be love, holiness, instructor, discipleship, drill sergeant. About to get into the book as usual. My name is Teacher Simon. You can reach us at 619-501-1375. We do Zooms Sabbath night. And you can reach us through Messenger. And you can reach us, that is our landline number as well. If you have any questions or want to just fellowship, want to meet other brothers and sisters besides just watching service, I am more nicer than how I teach. Because people keep telling me I teach super hard, which they could be right. But definitely hit us up anytime. Definitely give all honor to the Almighty, the creator of all things and everything in it. We are made for him, to do his will, to be his servants, to be his children. Give all honor to Yah through his son Yeshua Mashiach. Double honor to the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the bishops, the deacons across the whole planet. Teaching these people the word of the Almighty, persuading them to repent from their sins and come back to the Father. And getting them ready for persecution as well. All the brothers and sisters across the whole planet as well, keeping the Almighty's commandments, statutes, judgments, precepts, and ways. I appreciate you guys. You guys are a motivation to me, where you see people, you go to one side of the world, different country, you see people holding a standard, keeping his commandments, knowing that his words will not come back void. Either his words, when he says these people go into lake fire, or these people will repent, there's going to be people that repent, there's going to be people that won't make it. You know, so I think all the people on Facebook and YouTube that watch, subscribe, comment, appreciate you guys. Please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Let's get those numbers up. Let's get those likes up. Put a comment in there. Even if you want to support and help us out, just go pick a random video, put a thumbs up, and put a comment. I'm happy with that. You know, go ahead and push the line. Speaking of that, they flagged another random video. Now I think they're going back the past months, and they're finding videos that I taught like 6 months ago, and they're flagging videos now. So their algorithm or their AI or whatever they're doing, they're crushing it. By the way, I ain't gonna deal with too much news. IBM's laying off I think it's 8,000 employees, and they're gonna replace them with AI. And they said 8,000 humans because AI is gonna replace them. You know, they're not even called employees no more. They're called humans because they're gonna get replaced with AI. 8,000 humans, they called them. Sad, huh? Anyway, so I was thinking about AI. I was like, pretty soon you won't even need rappers, because you could have AI. AI can make beats now, and AI can make, if AI can write paragraphs and write literature and you put in for them to make reports, why can't there be AI rappers and AI singers? I mean, these jobs are going to be cut. I'll deal with the news next week. So, with all that said and being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and the scriptures do the talking. Go ahead and give me 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. I talked on this about a little bit last time, but I'm coming from a totally different angle. Praise the Almighty. Can AI sing though? I mean, they have AI that I think they have the technology. They only need to hear 3 seconds of your voice now, just 3 seconds, and then they can make a phone call to someone and use your voice, and you will think it's them. So whatever they got now, they could just hear your voice, and you think you're talking to me, but it's just a computer generating words. So I mean, I'm assuming they could sing. It won't. Would it surprise you within the next year AI could sing? It wouldn't. So let's get it. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Love not the world. So I talked a little bit on this, but I'm coming from a totally different angle today. Love not the world, neither the things are in it. Now let's go ahead and give me 1 Timothy chapter 6, just laying the foundation. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Let's get it. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and why some covet after, and we're going to deal with covetousness today, covet after they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And we're going to get with pierced themselves through with many sorrows as well, but we'll wait on that. So it says love, for the love of money. Now we see where people kidnap people, sex trafficking. Sex trafficking, I forgot how many billions of dollars per year. That industry, and child trafficking, and the main child trafficking, I gotta wait because I don't want this to get flagged so soon. But you'll be surprised the country that is the main child trafficking. There's a reason why they don't want to close those borders. There's a reason why they don't want to close those borders. I'll let you figure that out. But anyways, sex trafficking, drug cartel, murder, killing your spouse to get life insurance. For the love of money, you'll be surprised. I've seen families, brothers and sisters, not talk because the parents died, and now they're fighting over who gets the house, who gets the boat, who gets the car, who gets this, who gets this. They're fighting over possessions. They're fighting over possessions. And we're going to deal with how pointless is, how is vanity. Go ahead and give me Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Verse 24. It says, no man could serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other. Now look at that. It says, love not the world in one scripture, and this one says for the love of money, right? So love not the world and love for the love of money is the beginning of you, right? It says, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and mammon. And when you look up mammon, is wealth or money or riches. So you can't be a lover of riches and a lover of the Most High. Now it says a man would not work, neither shall he eat. There's a difference. But the love of money and the chase of money and the desire to get wealth, for what reason? Versus taking care of yourself. So it says that if your mindset is to chase money, then you hate the Most High. If your mindset is to love gain or riches or wealth, then you despise the Most High. We need to be wise in how we deal with money to increase as a man. But money is not my God. See, money will only amplify who you are. If I helped out people when I was an apprentice or when I was broke, right? I'm not saying I'm rich now, but if I got more money, that means I just help more people. That's all that means. That means I could help more homeless. That means I could do more for the Almighty. That means I could do more for my brothers and sisters. So when someone is selfish and they receive money, or if someone is chasing this and they're narcissistic, they're poor and they're narcissistic, and all of a sudden they get this deal, or they're a celebrity, or they're an actress, and they get known, or they get found, and they become, now it's just going to amplify their narcissist characteristics, or their selfishness, or vain, or self-centered people. Self-centered people, whether you're poor or rich, self-centered people are self-centered. You could be the poorest person and still be a narcissist. And then once you get money, you're the same old person, but just even worse, 10 times worse. So, it says you cannot serve. It says, now I want to deal with this right here. It says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, for what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, or for your body, and what you shall put on. Is not life more for meat, and the body than for raiment? Behold the fowls of the earth, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather in their barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are you not so much better than them? Which of you, by taking thought, can add a cubit to your stature? Cubic is roughly an arm's length, or 1.5 feet, 2 feet, right? Okay, add a cubic, just get 2 feet taller, right? I wish I was a little bit taller, right? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit to his stature? And why take thought for your raiment? And consider the lilies in the field, how they grow, and they toil not, neither do they spin. Yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if the Almighty so clothe the grass of the field, which is today is, and tomorrow cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherefore we be clothed? For all these do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth you have need of these things. Now I want you to keep a note of what we just read. Now I'm going to go back to verse 25 in a little bit. So it says, hey, you can't serve two masters. And because of that, I don't want you chasing riches, because you need to figure out, what am I going to eat, or what am I going to drink? I don't need you breaking the Sabbath. I don't need you sinning against me because you worried about chasing money and to fill your needs. Now, food, raiment, and shelter, those are just needs. But go back to verse 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, or yet for your body, for what you shall put on. Is not life more than meat, and the body for raiment? But let's go beyond that. This is not even why people are chasing money now. They're not chasing money and breaking the commandments of the Most High to take care of their, man, I just got to feed my family. I don't have no food in the fridge. They're chasing it for vanity and covetousness. They're chasing it so they could brag and boast. See, I will at least have respect, or I'm not going to say respect. I will at least will understand if someone's faith was small and they broke a commandment to feed their kids, or they had no clothes, or they had no shoes, or they couldn't pay their rent. So this is why he says, have faith. Have faith in me. I'll take care of your needs. But this generation is far beyond that. They want boasting rights. They want to floss on Instagram and Facebook and this and that. They don't even chase the money to take care of their needs. Their needs are already met. They're chasing the money so they could boast. They're chasing the money not even for their self, for extreme selfishness, and just to show I got it and you don't. That's the difference between this people and the scriptures we're about to get into. Let's keep going. Go ahead and give me 2 Timothy chapter 3. Second Timothy chapter 3. Know this, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And I believe 25 years ago, a minister said we're in the last days. And 25 years before that, a minister probably used the same scripture to say we're in the last. I think we're in the last days because we close to a one world government and one world currency. But everyone could say we're in the last days. I mean, technically today is the last day until tomorrow comes, right? So let's keep going. Know this, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For the man shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, and that's the main thing. They just love their own self. Boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. And we're going to deal with natural affection, what they chase versus what you need to be chasing. And what is natural affection? They do not appreciate natural affection. Let's keep going. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontent. Nothing is ever good enough. A lot of I'll deal with that later. Fierce, despisers of those that are good. These people, oh, you're just a housewife. I'm going to teach on that in a little bit, where they glory and they shame, and they're despisers of those that are good. Oh, you're just a housewife. Oh, you're being oppressed because you out having a hot girl summer, and you're going to fraternity parties and getting trains ran on you. And then because you got a train ran on you, and because you out there chasing, then you're like, oh, you're just a housewife. It says they glory and they shame. Despiser of those that are good. Let's keep going. Even the Bible says, I think it's a whoremonger, or I forgot the term they use for a woman that is a whore. It says they despise a woman of virtue, a woman that's keeping herself and has her virginity, or not running around having sex with everyone. It says these whores despise those women because they're not running around being a whore like them. And they know that they lost the virtue that they could never get. They lost a reputation that they can never have. They lost something, and they gave something away so freely, and they cannot get it back. Let's keep going. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Let's keep going. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. For such turn away from these people. Now, here's the sad part. Is he's not only the first three of them, you'd be like, oh, yeah, we see sinners do this all the time. But then when you get to verse 5, it says, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. And we're going to deal with how, from the center all the way to some of these false churches, the love of money creeps in and corrupts the whole congregation. Let's deal with judgment must begin in the house of the Most High. And the judgment begin with us first. What shall the ungodly and disobedient appear? But let's deal with that right now. Go ahead and give me Titus chapter 1. Next book, Titus chapter 1, verse 10. It says, for there are many unruly vain talkers and deceitful, especially those of the circumcision, whose mouth must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake, for money, for gain, teaching things for prosperity. These people, like C.D. Jakes or Cleflo Daughter or Joel Osteen, they teach prosperity preaching to make gain. For the tithes and offering, come buy my book, come do this, come do that. They teach for filthy lucre's sake, for gain. I never understood why someone will be a false minister. There's a difference between someone that generally doesn't know. There's things probably like, do I speak Hebrew? No, I don't, right? Do I have the time to learn Hebrew? Maybe a little bit, but I got to get my congregation ready for persecution. My main focus is, if the lights cut off, do we got 7 years of food and water? Do we have a place to grow our own crops and be self-sufficient in chicken coops and solar and stuff? That's where my time gets invested. How can I push money and push? I'm not dealing with money for the love of money and trying to floss. I'm dealing with to take care of the brothers and sisters. So, no. So, is it possible I could say an Amashiach? Is it possible the pronunciation of his name? Is it possible? There might be things in this. I know there's probably things that I do not know. The Almighty doesn't give me all wisdom. But these ministers know they're preaching a false gospel. They know Christmas is wrong. But Christmas brings money to the congregation. Easter eggs brings people. You know how, man, we got 30 members, but when we have an Easter service, we got 90 members. And we sure do send that tithe and offering tray. We sure do get more people coming to service during that Christmas service. It says, for filthy lucre's sake. Let's get another scripture. 2 Peter, a couple books to your right. 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 1. 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, but there are false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Almighty that brought them out, and bring upon them swift damnation. Like this one guy said, when you have sex with your wife, you're having sex with the Messiah. Because it says, whatever you did unto the least of mine, you did it unto me. That's what he said. I think it was Cleflo Dollar. Damnable heresy saying we have intimacy with the Messiah, because whatever you did unto the least of mine, you did it unto me. And when he was dealing with that, he dealt with feeding them, visiting them when they were sick, going to the hospital. All his example had nothing to do with intimacy. So, but that's what happens, bringing damnable heresies, right? And many of them follow their pernicious ways. By the reason of way the truth shall be evil spoken of, and through covetousness shall they, you with feigned words, false words, or pretended words, make merchandise of you. How do they do that? Judgment now, their judgment, it says, whose judgment now is a long time linger, if not, and damnation to be slumbered. They're going to hell, but they make merchandise. How? Oh, come buy my book. I remember someone mentioned that Joel Osteen's book was thicker than the Bible, was bigger than the Bible. So they're pushing their book more than they're pushing people to read their Bible. Tell me why all these people have a book to buy. Tell me why they have the super stores in their congregation. Why you got a store in a congregation? It says my house is a house of prayer. You made it a den of thieves. Why you got a store selling books and Bibles and this and that all in your congregation? Why are you trying to make merchandise to the people? Why are you trying to make merchandise to the people? It starts all the way. It says having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. But let's go back. Let me get the shout outs right now. Praise the Almighty. Shout outs. Let's get it. All right. Ahava. This is for the last 2 weeks because I left my phone last time. Kovesh, Christian, Gia, Occupate, Yetta, Trisha, Howard, Janisi, Kamari, Ariel, Nava, Kashef, Zahara, Karen, Katura, Zedek, Jason, Ratazan, Sharon. And then I've got to go through the next list. Oh, it's the same people. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Praise the Almighty. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I want you to make it into the kingdom. I want you guys to be saved. Let's get it. Now, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3 one more time. I'm going to show you guys something. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Now after we laid the foundations, let's get deeper. 2 Timothy chapter 3. These squirrels, it stopped raining, but these squirrels keep running across these branches and making all this rain just fall down. Drops, not rain, technically drops. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. The sun's coming out too a little bit. It says, know this, in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Check this out. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. I'm going to break a little bit of this down. We're going to deal with the covetous part of it, right? Without natural affection, some of these people don't care about their kids. If you're a single parent mother, right? Or a single parent father, you don't have time to leave your kid with grandma or with the babysitter so you could go to the club. Those days are over. When you have a child, now you need, instead of being selfish, you need to be selfless. You have a duty and a responsibility. And you still want to have a single person's life, or you're trying to have a single person's life, a single person with no kids, no husband, no wife, whatever, live a single person's life with children. And that does not mix. And this is why you don't have natural affection, because your natural affection, once you see that kid comes out, is you should have the responsibility should kick in, the duty, the sacrifice should kick in towards that person, towards your children. But this ain't true. When I see these videos, and most of them are probably fake, but a guy tries to talk to a girl, she's not interested, cool, and then she sees the car, he goes, and all of a sudden she's interested. That's without natural affection, because you're chasing money. Money is your God. And so this guy has your God, and so you're going to chase him for the car. You're going to chase him for all you see. It's no different than a guy just wanting you just for vagina. They don't imagine having a guy that only values you for intimacy. That's the only thing he sees. That's the only time he wants to call. That's the only time he wants to talk to you. That's the only time so they can meet up. Now imagine it vice versa. It says covetousness, self-centered, pleasures of self more than pleasures of the Most High. Let's keep going. Without natural affection, false accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, in that sense of entitlement, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. But I want to get with up top where it says covetousness. Go ahead and give me Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. And we're going to start at verse 5. Colossians chapter 3. My page could get there. Verse 5. It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil conspicuously, and covetousness, which is idolatry, self-worship. When you chasing money, it's just self-worship. And you see, imagine this, how many times you see these rappers, they put $100 bills right here, or they own some nice car or whatnot, and they floss it. What do you plan to get out of that? What are you trying to show the people? I got it and you don't. Look at this watch. I have it and you don't. Look at my car. I have it and you don't. Look at my Chanel bag. Look at my Gucci bag. What are these women trying to, why are they go on social media and they want the world to see, look what I have and look what you don't have. Look how sucky your life is and look how good my life is. Look at my car and look at your car. I'm better than you. See, this is the thing when the Almighty says, hey, you can't serve two masters. And he says, take no thought for what you're going to eat or what you're going to do. The average person on this world, they say if you have a refrigerator with food in it, you're richer than 90% of the world. If you go to places in Africa and go to places in the Middle East and go to places in China, I'm talking about in the villages, not in the main city. If you go to some of these places, they don't have refrigerators. They got outhouses. So he's saying, hey, don't chase money. I will take care of your needs. These people are chasing money just so they could brag and just so they could take a dump on everyone else. Just so they can make you feel less because you don't have the car and you can't put $100 bills. Some of them will go as far as having fake $100 bills and just to do this, just to act and have the image of having money. The image of being successful. But they do nothing with it. And this is how bad it is. He's saying, hey, don't break my commandments. I will give you some food. I will take care of your needs. Their needs are already met. I just want to have bragging rights. I'm chasing the bag to have bragging rights, to make everyone else feels less. I've seen this Rolex watch. This guy was showing a Rolex watch. I think it was the Mayweather. He was like, oh, I got like 10 watches in this, and he's trying to boast and whatnot with his money and whatnot. I said, he had a watch, right? And you couldn't even, it had so many diamonds on it, you couldn't even tell the time. So why not just have a bracelet? What is the purpose of having a watch that you can't even tell the time? Well, I like how you're just doing it to boast. Because if I bought a Gucci bag or a Chanel bag and I was able to cut off the label, and I bought a quality bag from Walmart or whatever, right? A quality bag from Ross or whatever, just a nice quality purse. And I went to people and I say, hey, which bag would you prefer? And they'll see the quality of whatnot. There's a good probability the majority of people will go with the quality bag. Oh, this one seems pretty tough. This one seems like it will last longer. This one, they'll go after quality. But once you say, this one's a Gucci bag, I just took the label off. Oh, I'll go with the Gucci. Why is that? Now, why is that? Because you want people to see you with the Gucci and not that you want a bag that's going to last long and quality. Why is that? What has society done to you where you want something to, it's so important to have an image of money, and money has become your God so much that it's so important for you to have the image of wealth than actually being wealthy. And we're going to deal with what true wealth is. So you see, let's even use it when you fake it, like rappers, because I want to do a category of people. Like rappers, they're the cockroaches of the earth. Like these modern day singers, R&B singers and these women singers, they're the cockroaches of the earth. They floss these chains and whatnot. When I go in the gym, I put my hoodie on and I come in, and I hit it and I go hard, right? And people see how I do. And people, oh, this and this, and they see, and sometimes they'll kind of move because they know I'm going to do an exercise and whatnot. And there's a mutual respect because presence is felt, not heard. Presence is felt, not heard. I want you to pay attention to that. When you walk in a room with confidence and with power, presence is felt, not heard. And so I don't have to show the world I have money. How many videos have you seen Bill Gates showing pictures of all his money and his watches? How many people do you think Elon Musk has to floss and flex? Do you? How about Warren Buffett? How much flexing do you see him do? People feel their presence. They know what they're about. They're the richest people in the world. They don't have to, I don't have to go in the gym before my set. You know, those obnoxious people that wants everyone to look at them and look at me, I'm lifting heavy weights and they make excessive noise so people can see their presence. But they don't, because presence is felt, not heard. They know a killer in the room. They know a beast or a savage when they come in. They know how they lift. They know what. They know who's about their business and who's not. Elon Musk don't have to make one video with $100 bills and gold in their teeth and a whole bunch of chains and all these rings and doing this and he stand in front of a Ferrari and doing all this on his Instagram. He owns Twitter. You put in pictures and stuff on Instagram. Who owns Instagram? The person that you got to put it on Instagram so people could think that you're rich, but the people that own Instagram are chilling. You'll never even see them. Yeah. And that's the thing is money has become these people's god so much that they will get fake $100 bills, or these girls, they'll take pictures and they'll Photoshop the background to act like they're going to fake places. Oh, I went to Italy, I went to France, I went to this, and they'll find those same pictures off of like like a wallpaper page where you could buy wallpapers. Like she never been there. There's people that get in and take fake jets that act like they're in a jet, and it's a studio with the half of a jet. They act like they're taking a personal jet to have the facade of having money. You want to money show your God so much that you'll fake to have it. Versus just, hey, thank you, Almighty, for my food today. Thank you for my clothes today. Thank you for having me able to pay my rent. Money's not my God. Now let's get deeper. Let's keep going. Now, give me Proverbs. See, once we do have money, right? This is why they're so selfish and covetous. Because the whole purpose, once you achieve a certain level, or once you achieve the level, is to preserve seed. To preserve the next generation and the generation after that. But this isn't what they do. Let's keep going. Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22, and I'll go faster because we still got quite a bit of scriptures to go over. It says, Proverbs 13, verse 22, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. I'm going to deal with both of those. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of a sinner is laid up for the just. Now, he even went beyond his children. He went to his grandchildren. He says, I'm going to set up my next generation, my children, and preserve seed, my sons, my daughters. I'm going to set them up so they can have a better life than me. But just in case if they're a knucklehead, I need to set up something for my grandchildren too. Because I don't want to give my money to a fool and they blow the money. And then now the next generation after that is poor. And is in a worse situation than I'm in. Let's keep going, because that has happened before. Go ahead and give me Luke chapter 15. Starting at verse 11, Luke 15, verse 11. it says, and he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me my portion of my goods that falleth to me. And he divided them unto his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and he took his journey into a far country, and he wasted his substance and riots his living. So he wasted it. He's dealing with the prodigal son, how he repented and came back. But my main point is, how could he come to his father and say that? See, our culture, we always try to set up our next generation to have a better life than we did. We always try to set up to where we could leave them something and they do not have to start from scratch. This is the generation, even in America, they only push that on black people. White people get life insurance and they leave them houses and jet skis and boats. Only black people have them on the side of the freeway trying to get money just to bury them. That's a black people thing, right? Maybe Mexicans too, because I see them a lot doing that too. But Asians, oh, they leave an inheritance to their kids. Chaldeans, oh, they're getting a gas station or a liquor store. When my dad dies, I get the liquor store. Like Asians, oh, I got the restaurant, or I got the things that sell nail and hair. Oh, I got, I got the salons, whatever, right? They got all that stuff, right? They pass that down. They keep that in, right? We're the only people that have our kids start off from scratch when they get 18. Or when we pass away, they actually have to pay money to bury you because you don't want to get life insurance, right? You don't even have an inheritance. You played around with your whole life. You lived 60 years and you played the whole time, and now you have nothing when you die. You wasted your whole life, right? But let's keep going. So, he came to his dad because he knew our culture and he knew he had an inheritance. His dad didn't just live to himself and just boast and just do whatever and left their kids with nothing. That's what this generation is. This generation, they are so caught. Because how could you leave your kids, male or female, just to go to a club instead of being home with your kids? How could you bring, like, how is it that men or women are, you're not even if you had life insurance, you don't spend the time and energy into your kids to set them up for success. You're not investing time and energy to set them up for success. So you're selfish. And once you have kids, you need to be selfless. Now, we see our culture. Now our duty is to take care of the generation that comes after us and the generation after that. To preserve seed. That your name don't get blotted out. And that my grandkids aren't going to be beggars. Set them up for passive income or set them up, put it in a trust, figure it out. I don't say too much because I'm under an NDA, non-disclosure agreement with True Hebrews United, so I don't say too much with dealing with money and finance and stuff. We ain't doing that. So, now let's get to, I'll deal with this spider. There's a spider called Stegodiphyus dumerlero. I don't know how to pronounce it. I wish they would have just gave it a name, whoever discovered it. But this spider actually showed me a lot when I was like in my 20s. It was on like National Geographic or something. But this spider lays eggs and it waits until the eggs are done. And once the eggs hatch, they immediately bite the mother and inject them venom. And their first meal is they eat their mother. And you could tell every time, and it's like hundreds or thousands of these spiders all over the mother once they hatch out of that little nest egg thing. And you could tell it's hurting the mother, and she just stays there until the mother dies, and then these spiders leave the nest. I was like, man, that is selfless. Like, it showed me like the Almighty, like, it clicked, where, man, that you would do that for your next generation or for your kids. That you would sacrifice yourself for the betterment of your children. But our generation is like ostriches. They have kids just to lock a man down. They'll have kids just to lock a woman down. Like you had no interest in, you brought a being into this world just because you didn't want that girl to leave you. You care less about this creature that just came into this world now. You literally brought a human being into this world just to trap this woman. And then it doesn't surprise me when you don't invest that much energy. Because that was just a trap child. So then why would I invest energy? It's not like I wanted a kid. I just didn't want her to leave. Selfish. pleasures of self more than pleasures of the Most High, covetousness. That's without natural affection. Let's keep going. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 6. We're going to go back to this. 1 Timothy chapter 6. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil. While some of them coveteth after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. This is what we see happen. We already see these people fall away, and they will compromise the gospel and their salvation to get members or to get tithes or to sell books or do whatever. I'm not saying you can't write a book or this or marriage and whatnot, but you're pushing this book more. You're pushing people read the Bible, or you're selling books in the congregation. Put it on Amazon or something like that. Don't try to make merchandise for the people. Let's keep going, right? How do they pierce themselves with many sorrows? I've seen videos, and you can see videos where there's these porn stars or these OnlyFans stars that made thousands and millions of dollars. And they lament because they cannot find a man. No man takes them serious. Once they find out, or they have a relationship, and once the man, they have a decent man, a solid man, but once the man find out that they had an OnlyFans, they separate from him immediately. Even though they try to be honest, first they start being honest and say, yeah, I used to do OnlyFans, and they realize that don't go far with relationships. Then they try to hide it, and then they find out, and the guy leaves them. And then now you see them crying and having a pity party, and this and this, and I just want someone to respect me for who I am, and that's my past, me and this and this, and that sometimes you don't get a second chance. You don't have no pity for them. They want people to feel pity and feel remorse. No. You played around. You did OnlyFans, and you cannot find a man now. I decided to gangbang, and I spent 25 life in prison, and I'm crying because I'm in prison for the consequence of my actions, and you want to cry and have people have sympathy for the consequence of your actions. Oh, that's different. You sold drugs. Well, what did you do? Everything has a consequence. And it's hard for men and women to realize that some things you don't have a second chance. If you play it around in high school and your grade point average is a 2.8, and you can't get upset because Stanford or Harvard or any Ivy League school do not want to take you and give you a scholarship. You have one opportunity in high school as a kid that don't know no better to get the best GPAs you can, to get in the best colleges you can. You only have one opportunity to do that. You have one opportunity to do that. And that is before you're even an adult. So these colleges are judging you when you're 16, 17, 18, and 15. Probably get into 15, graduate 18, or graduate 17. They're judging you off of you being a kid if they're going to give you a full ride. You're not even an adult. So if anyone's supposed to have sympathy, it would be for these children. Nope. You want to play around in high school, this and this and this, you're not smart enough to get a full ride. We're not going to give you a full ride. You get one chance. And you can't get upset because you messed up on your chance. That's the consequence of your actions. I mean, sometimes you could go into community college without, you know what I'm saying, whatever. There's other opportunities, right? But not everything gets a second chance. You could play around. David played around one time with adultery. The sword would never leave your kingdom. This is going to happen. 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 He didn't get no second chance. The sword never left his kingdom. Ever. He was done. He had to face the consequences of his actions. In his like manner, you want to chase the money, and then when the consequences are unfavorable to you, let's go to the next example. Let's go to the women that say, oh, I'm chasing the bag. I'm a boss babe, right? They get this degree. Now they're 28, 32. They got this degree. They got their own house. They got their own car. And then now I'm ready to settle down. And look at Jamaica. There's documentaries of women in Jamaica that chase the degree and chase the corporate world, chase that corporate ladder, and now you don't have no one. They can't find a man. Either they want them to equal or have greater than them, which the people that make that amount of money is so few, so it's going to be hard already. And or no one wants to deal with them because you picked up masculine traits competing in the corporate world. And so you spent all your 20s and years fighting and trying to be a white collar and trying to chase the bag and chase the money and get this and get the degree and get the house and get the car. You spent all this time chasing this, right? Money was your God, right? And success, what you call success, was your God. Then you didn't learn what we're going to deal with. You didn't learn how to cooperate. You didn't learn how to be a team player. You didn't learn how to deal with the man. You said, hey, I want to chase this first, and then marriage or partner or love or that will come secondary. But what happens is, which you can look this up, is they did that, and now you're 32 years old and you got to compete with 24-year-old with no degree that are beating you. Your end goal, you wanted to have a husband, but you treat a husband as second. Are you treating these fruits of the Spirit? We're going to get into this in a little bit. You treated these things as second, and you treated your money as your God, or success and fortune and fame. I'll put it all at celebrity, fortune and fame, people, the image of having money, the image and fortune, fame, and you treat all that first. And now when you come to this, you can't compete. You don't look as good as you did when you're 35 than when you were 22, 23. And guess what? You're 32 years old and you got to compete with a 24-year-old girl that don't have a degree. But it don't matter, because they're moldable and shapeable, and you can mold and shape one another as you grow together. You are so set in your ways. You do not know how to live and maintain a healthy relationship because you're too busy chasing the bag. To you men too, no different. A lot of these people that become successful, they say the majority of successful people, like CEOs or whatnot, are narcissists. Because they are so self-centered, they don't care about laying people off, and they don't care about getting over on people to climb that corporate ladder. And you'll find out that a lot of these ones end up having failed in marriage. I'm talking about quickly. Or you find out that they're alone. Because you have made money your God and chasing the corporate ladder, and you wanted to be in power, in charge so much that you do not know how to be a team player. You do not know how to be a team player. And we're going to get on why this is. Now, go ahead and give me 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Look at these people that are, this is why it says it is harder for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. It is easier for a camel to enter into a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Because there's certain attributes that go with certain things. And on the majority level, if I do this and I do that, what comes to your mind if a woman does that? She's stubborn, she got an attitude, she's loud, non-cooperative. If I'm chilling and I got a paper bag and I'm chilling on the block and I'm posted up like this, just looking back and forth, what comes to your mind? Certain things you do most of the time come with a certain demeanor or a certain behavior. So when you spent years chasing money, there's a behavior that comes with that. And that behavior is opposite of this. Let's keep going. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Charity suffer long. Charity is love. And is kind. So having long suffering, being kind. Charity envieth not envying one another. And don't tell me you're boasting and you say you don't envy. These people that want to floss their money and boast over people are the same people that are envious when someone is doing better than them, what they deem better than them. They're the same envious people. You can't say, oh, I'm better than you and whatnot, but then if you were down here and he was up there, you'll be envious. Or why he got in here, or who he think he is. These are the same people. They're one and the same. Let's keep going. Envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. We're not puffed up, oh, look at me and this and that. No. You know what I'm saying? Vaunteth not itself. Is not puffed up. Do not behave itself unleashed. Seeketh not her own. So we're not self-centered. We don't have vanity and we're not narcissists. Let's keep going. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. And I know some of this stuff is simple to me. Like some simple stuff is self-centered. Is I literally, because I go to the gym a lot, I literally see someone pass through 4 urinals, empty, go into where the toilet is, pee on the toilet seat, and come out and don't wash their hands and go out. And so it's like the person that actually has to take a dump, and you see there's urine all over the toilet seat. And you passed 4 urinals. Why? Why? See, these are when you just want to smack. I'm like, Almighty, please send these people to the lake of fire. That is so selfish. So, who do you think you are to where you don't? I hope these people get diarrhea and they really have to go to the toilet and it's about to explode out of their pants and they have to sit on a urine seat. They just have to sit because they're either going to poop on themselves or I pray that the people that do that, one day they will have to go and they're about to, they ate a bad burrito and they have to run to the toilet and they don't have time to get toilet paper and wipe the seat off the urine. And someone like you came before you and now you got to sit in urine or you're going to take a dump on yourself. I pray for that you learn your lesson and hopefully you repent to the Most High. There you go. I turn that back around. That you learn your lesson and through you sitting in urine, you say, I want to give my life to the Most High. As you're sitting in urine, you're like, you know, this is the day I want to give myself to the Most High and I'm going to start repenting. I hope that happens. But let's keep going. Self-centered, vanity. Now it says charity is not these things, right? Let's keep going. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth to beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. Now you see that? Now let's go to Galatians real quick. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, faith, meekness, temperaments. Against such there is no law. What? See, this is what the Almighty values and what we value. Uh-oh. Who's calling? So this is what the Almighty values and what we value, but this is not what they value. And so these men or women chasing the bag, and then now you chase the bag doing OnlyFans, or you chase the bag as a man chasing the corporate ladder, and you realize no one wants to be with you because you don't have love, you don't have joy, you don't have peace, you're not long-suffering, you're not temperaments, you're easily provoked, you envy it, you vaunted yourself, you're puffed up, you're a narcissist. Well, I got money. Yeah, you got your God, but that's all you have. Because you chased that and that became you didn't develop any other virtuous skills. So if you see a woman that don't really have much, but she adds value, she brings peace, she's loving, she's long suffering, she's a good nurturer, she's whatnot, she will find a husband. And a man that shares these fruits of the Spirit, he will find a man. Because these are valuable. You were just wanting to brush off and I got my Chanel bag and this, and you became so shallow. When you're chasing money, you don't have time to adopt love and peace and joy and long suffering and beareth all things and believeth all things and hopeth all things and meekness and peace and cooperative. You don't have time to develop actually real social skills and real virtue and values that the Almighty esteems. You don't have time for that because you can't serve two masters. And so then in the end, it says you pierce yourself with many sorrows. And this is what they'll do. They'll say, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I'm fine all by myself. The reason why the majority of women or men say that, oh, I don't need a woman. I'm fine all. I'm a Sigma male. I do my own thing. The whole Sigma male and lone wolf, those are people who are incooperable with society. A lot of times they'll just use, oh, I'm a Sigma male, just because you have money, but you're a loser. Who really wants to hang out with Bill Gates? He's a loser. No one wants to hang. He's one of the richest people in the world, but who wants to hang out with him? Because he's a narcissist. You see his old videos, how he treated his employees at Microsoft. He'd be like, I can't believe you're that dumb. And he's the CEO, so no one wanted to interview the people that actually had to work with him. No one liked him. He was unlikable, unapproachable. He was narcissistic and self-centered. He will die alone. He will die alone. Why? Because he chased his God and didn't have to develop fruits of the Spirit. Same thing with the woman. Oh, I don't need a man. See, the thing is, the majority of the women that say, I don't need a man, is because you tried. And instead of you accepting the fact that your characteristics do not... Let's back up a little bit. for a man to want to marry you. All right? So let's use my wife for example. When I said I wanted to marry her, right? I am indirectly saying I value you enough to put your life before mine. To where if I had to jump in front of a car or jump in front of a bullet or save you from a crocodile, I will put my life, I'll put the value of your life before mine, and I will protect you. And I will invest all my youth, all my young years, all my strongest years, all the years with all of my hair and no wrinkles and all my good years, invest that into you and into our children, and I will grow old with you because I value you that much. So when you see a woman that says, oh, I'm fine by myself, I don't need a man, it's because no one values you enough to do that. You're saying that to comfort yourself instead of dealing with the fact that you don't have these fruits of meekness and peace and joy. You don't bring peace. You don't bring value to a man's life. There's nothing you have inherently in you that adds value to a man to where they will value you and marry you. So instead of you accepting that because you chase money, instead of you accepting that, you're just going to say, I don't need no man. A relationship's not for me, because you tried and you failed and you failed and you failed because when you chase money, you become hollow. There's nothing in there because you're just chasing money. You're chasing vanity. You're chasing air. So you don't have nothing of value. What value does a rapper bring? And this is why I'm going to do a teaching when I get to Belize. There's 3 categories. Hopefully you guys follow me. 3 categories of people. The top people is people that add to society. The middle people are people that maintain society. And the bottom people are the cockroaches that degrade society. So as a construction worker, I maintain society. Trash can workers, janitors, painters, we keep society being built. We help build buildings. We're the plumbers. If you have a clog, if your roof needs to be fixed, we fix that. If the tornado came and destroyed, we maintain society. But we don't degrade from society. Then you have the inventors. I'm not saying one's better than others. They invent things and they make society better. Whether it's AI or whether it's crypto or whether they makes it, whether there's the calculator, whether it's the engine or the airplane, they make society better. And then you have the cockroaches like the rappers that degrade society. That through your music, you make men want to shoot people. You promote shooting. You women, you sing music to promote being a whore or work. You promote being a boss babe. You degrade society. Now, I teach the gospel, so I add value to society, and I'm trying to get people to repent and so I'm in between. My job-wise, I just maintain society. Spiritually wise, I add value and I make the society better because I'm telling people, stay a virgin. I'm telling people, don't do drugs, right? These rappers, they degrade society. So how is making these pictures with money and doing all this and taking off, how is that? So now you're trying to make other people make money their God. You're trying to make other people make money their God. And you're trying to push, let's make money your God. Money needs to be your God. Money. But you don't push, hey, we need to love one another. You need to be long-suffering. Have meekness. Not easily provoked. Envy if not. It's not puffed up. Do not behave yourself unseemly. Seek if not her own. You need to be pushing the fruits of the Spirit. And so when you chase money, you become hollow. You don't have any other virtue other than chasing money. And this is why a lot of these men that are CEOs will die alone. And some of them want a wife. And, the married life is not for me. That's because you can't get someone. No woman values them and say, I want to have children with you. I want to spend the rest of my life and I want to give you my best years to you, man. No one values you enough. Money doesn't bring value. Money's one attribute of value. Money is one attribute of value. That doesn't mean you're a high value man or a valuable man simply because you have money. Because everyone on Epstein's island had money. And they were what? Child molesters and pedophiles, right? So then you mean they're valuable? You mean they're valuable, right? Because if money means value. If money's the only attribute of value, everyone molesting those little kids on Epstein Island must be super valuable, right? But let's keep going. So, love not the world, neither the things that are in it. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Let us seek the Most High and add the fruits of the Spirit. So with all that said being done, keep standing. Don't drop standards. Give the Almighty a hand clap. Shalom.